What's up? Me again, and we're going to continue with the kind of Hawk series. And I know I promised some instrument flying and radio navigation using the Nevada Test and Training Map, but I've discovered that my system currently doesn't agree with DCS 2.0, so I can't run it for more than 2 minutes or so without crashing. So we're going to have to change our plans or adapt at least. Um, So in the meantime, I thought maybe it might be fun to just get right into some of the combat stuff, which I can do just fine here, um, with the Sidewinder and the gun. Here we're flying a Hawk, and I've chosen the blue paint job because I think it looks cool. And we're carrying two AIM-9Ms and the ADEN gun pod on the center line. Now you can only carry the AIM-9M, and that's the gun you carry. It's 30 millimeter cannon. It's a rotary cannon, kind of like what we carry in the. It's similar to what the Mirage has, and similar in operation to like what the F5 carries as well. It's a revolver cannon. Our scenario here is where we have, let's make this guy orbit. This may look like a familiar map. It's the same scenario I did with the F-15, except we're in a Hawk now. And these MiGs I'm not going to mess with probably. So we're going to go for these cargo planes. And the more I fly the Hawk, the more I'm just really enjoying it. It's just for pure flight. It doesn't really get a lot more fun than that. This is the kind of plane that you'll smile when you're flying it. You're just gonna get a little grin on your face. What's my master caution saying? Okay, nothing. Trim up a little bit. Okay, so it looks like we've come into the scenario here with our master weapon switch armed. But when you start your plane, this is going to be locked and safe. So to arm your master arm selector switch, you right click on this to put the key in, right click on it again to turn the key, and then they really overboard on the safety here. Right click again to go to live. So that means it's like your master arm switch. Like I said, we're only carrying two weapons here, and you can see them thus. And to arm the gun, it's very simple. You just go here and see where it says gun, on, off. Flick that. And we're going to put power into our weapons pylons on the left and on the right. And then over here, this is the volume for the Sidewinder growl. And this is one of the quirks of the Sidewinder and the Hawk. You have a coolant switch, and it takes 3 minutes for this coolant to go active. So we're going to go ahead and flip that. And press this button for air-to-air missile AAM. And you can hear that growl. That means your seeker head is seeking. This is a switch here. I don't think it's functional just yet in the Hawk. You can flip it up for the seeker head to scan all over the place, and press down for it's just locked in front, like bore-sighted. And I'm just going to leave it locked in front so we get it easier to aim. Now note that this is a gun sight and not a true heads-up display, so you don't get any cues as to where your seeker head is pointing. Here's our target. And I know I'm way ahead of the 3-minute mark for that seeker to go active, but we're going to see what it does in the meantime. Probably not a whole lot. It'll be a good chance to practice our gun. Also, this is a kind of a gyro gun sight here, but it's not, it just kind of is what it is, and I haven't quite, to really be effective with it, you're just going to have to practice. The biggest limitation of this cannon I found isn't the caliber. It's 30 millimeter, which is pretty beefy. It's accurate. but you run out of ammo real quick, and it fires in bursts. So when every squeeze of the trigger does like what, a second, and I think you get 4 or 5 bursts. It's really not, you don't really get a lot of chances to miss. Combined with the kind of simple gun sight we have here, it's kind of a challenge to hit anything with it. So I'm going to go old school. The solution when you're deflection shooting may not be the best around. Just get as close as possible. Wait till the target fills your gun sight and light it up. Somewhat damaged. Now, as you may have noticed, the seeker head did kind of catch on to the engines at the last second there, which it's likely to do as we zoom in again. I'm going to try and finish it off with a gun. Nope. I think I might have one more shot with a gun, and that's going to be it. Yep, it's empty. So, Sidewinder away. Fox 2. Damage modeling. Splash 1, and there we have it. We're out of ammunition. So, what to do now? I mean, you're, like I said, this is designed to. It is a weapons capable trainer, combat capable trainer, but it's probably not going to be something you're going to be, hopefully, in any sustained fights with. As fun as it may be to try that. No, it's got a good thrust to weight ratio. It's snappy. It's responsive. It's agile. I'd say competitive against something like the F-86. That might be a good matchup. The MiG-15 even. In a guns only fight, you've got a good gun, but it's hard to hit with it. So maybe a bit of a challenge if you want to build a scenario like that. And I mean, we're not really going to go into BFM in this series, but against most contemporary fighters, this could be a pretty nasty angles dogfighter. Let's jettison all our pods. It didn't jettison anything. Take note. Let's do a nice and sloppy landing here. It's not sloppy, it's tactical. Flaps down one setting, gear. Well, gear was supposed to go out. There we go. Yes, this thing has a really good roll rate, good turn rate, good acceleration. So even though the top speed may not be as high as stuff with afterburners, this might be a nasty little surprise. The biggest limitation, I would think, if you have the kind of you want to take on the challenge of fighting more modern fighters in this, the biggest challenge you're going to have is this does not have the kind of situational awareness to kind of keep you from getting surprised. It's going to be all visual. The only way you're going to detect an enemy, so you have no radar and no radar warning receiver. The only way you're going to know there's an enemy nearby is either through AWACS or if you visually spot them with your Mark 1 eyeball. So if you're getting jumped, you got missiles inbound, you don't have any countermeasures, no chaff, no flare, that's another major problem. So it's going to be all kinetic, all visual, all old school. But again, this is a trainer. It's designed to make you better. So if you can manage that kind of scenario and not completely cock it up, then again, when you switch back to your F5 or whatnot, you're doing pretty well. Rough landing. Descent rate too high. So, my opinion, unless you're really good and you practice a lot with a gun on this thing, just because of the aiming situation, I'd say it's probably going to be much more effective against ground targets. But hey, if you can make it work, more power to you. I'm sure anything's possible with practice. That's a good looking plane.